Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you are in the world, and welcome to today's webinar, Case Study, How Crafco Enhances its Order Management Processes with OMS Plus, hosted by SAPinsider and presented with SAP with DataXstream and Crafco. I'm Brittany McKeon from SAPinsider, and I will be your moderator today. Just a few announcements before we begin. This webinar is designed to be interactive between you and the presenters. Later in the program, we will ask for your feedback. You can participate in the Q&A session by asking questions about the information presented in this webinar at any time. Just type your question into the Q&A text box located to the right of the slide window and click Submit. We will answer as many questions as time permits after the presentation. The slides will advance automatically throughout the event. You can also download a PDF copy of this presentation by clicking in the resources at the bottom right of your console. You will also find links to upcoming SAPinsider webinars and our upcoming research report. At this time, we recommend you disable your pop-up blockers. Later in this presentation, there will be a demo. This will display in your media player. If you're experiencing any technical problems, please visit the webinar help guide by clicking on the help question mark icon in the bottom right of your console. If slides are not advancing, please press the F5 key on your keyboard to refresh. Now for today's presentation, Case Study, How Crafco Enhances its Order Management Process with OMS Plus. Discussing today's topic will be Katherine Easterling and Tim Yates. Opening things up today will be Rajiv Nema, Senior Director at SAP App Center. Now we'll hear from you, Rajiv.
Thank you, Brittany. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Rajiv Nema. I'm in charge of partner relations and partner promotions for SAP App Center. Welcome to the webinar. Today, we are proudly featuring our very esteemed and very successful partner, DataXstream, along with one of their key customers, Crafco. Crafco is a wholesale supplier of road maintenance solutions and equipment. So let's make a very engaging and very interactive conversation. Today, we will hear from two industry veterans. One is a provider of compelling order management solution, and other a power user of it. And as Brittany mentioned, we'll see a demo, and nothing better than seeing a demo of any solution you're talking about. Today, we will talk about the order management solution, what are its benefits, how does it work, how does it integrate with S/4HANA, and then very importantly, from the customer's perspective, from the user's perspective, how has been their transformation journey from before and after the deployment of this DataXstream solution. So before I give floor to our guests, just a word or two about SAP App Center. SAP App Center is where SAP's partners and customers meet. It is a true e-commerce marketplace. In the simplest terms to think about it, it's Amazon.com for enterprise solutions. The marketplace is SAPappcenter.com. We have today more than 1,500 solutions from more than 1,000 partners covering all lines of businesses which SAP does business in, like S/4HANA, analytics, customer experience, success factors, Ariba, Fieldglass. So I encourage you to go to App Center and browse around. Here, partners, from their perspective, they can publish their solutions absolutely for free and grow their market. And you as customers, you can discover, try, and buy in a self-service manner and see all the benefits of which you would see in a digital transaction or digital commerce, like quickly finding the solution, which covers the white space, which the SAP solution won't be covering. And then you can extend your investment into SAP platform and solutions. And quicker time to value, because now it is all digital transaction. You are reaching out to SAP certified partners very quickly, and the delivery and implementation will be very quick. And we'll see one example today. So with that, let's meet today's speakers. So we'll first hear from Tim Yates, who is CEO of DataXstream, and then we'll hear from the practitioner of the solution, Katherine Easterling. Just a quick intro about each of them. Katherine, she has 15 years of experience as a liaison and IT relationship manager with several business units, being responsible for both small to medium projects. Katherine understands the business unit strategy, objectives, issues, and processes, as well as the technology in place to support them. And for Tim, Tim has been in the industry for more than 20 years, working on SAP systems, architecture, and program delivery. Tim specializes in development of SAP technical strategies and service for clients. His extensive SAP technical and functional background has enabled him to thrive in environments of varying complexities. So let's hear about that. I'll pass the baton to Tim. Over to you.
Rajiv, thank you for the introduction. So I'm going to just give you a brief overview of our agenda this morning. I'm going to start with a little bit about DataXstream, a OMS Plus demo, and then I'll turn it over and we'll hear Crafco's customer success story. So who they are, their business challenges, the solution they implemented, their KPIs and successes, and then we'll go into a Q&A. So a little bit about DataXstream. 20 years in the SAP business. We're a dedicated partner. We only specialize and work with SAP technologies. And we have experience in both delivery of SAP solutions as well as development of products on top of SAP technologies. We've worked with customers of varying different sizes, so from global large enterprises to small SMB customers, with literally teams of several SAP resources in total to thousands of SAP resources. Experience in B2B and B2C markets, so a lot of differences between those as well as similarities. And we've worked in both of those markets with customers. Important is we're a part of SAP's Partner Edge Build community, and this is where partners come together to leverage SAP technologies and turn them into new solutions to fill specific niche requirements as well as specialty requirements that customers have. And in being aligned with this technical and build community, we're also very tightly aligned with SAP's wholesale distribution IBU. We're actually a part of the recommended roadmap, and when a customer is looking at SAP solutions for the wholesale industry, OMS Plus is one of those solutions that SAP recommends to them. So that's a little bit about DataXstream. Let's talk about the OMS Plus product, and then we're going to go into a demo. And when we start the demo, I'm actually going to have Scott Walker on my team drive and narrate, since he's a lot more familiar with driving the solution. So OMS Plus enables counter sales, mobile sales, and call center sales. So it's based on responsive design. It runs in any web browser and is deployed via SAP's cloud platform. And what this means is you can take your SAP sales process anywhere. You're not limited to a counter or a call center. You can take it out on the floor. You can take it into your warehouse, and you can take it to your customer and sell to them directly at their location. As long as you have a connection and a Chrome browser, you can sell out of SAP with OMS Plus. It's designed to make selling efficient, and this really has two impacts. It creates a much higher level of customer satisfaction because you can quickly and efficiently sell to them, find the products they need, and sell with confidence because you know that you have the inventory, you know the pricing. We're interacting directly with your back-end SAP system. But in addition to creating a good experience for your customers, we've actually in surveys been told that it also increases employee satisfaction because salespeople want to sell. And what they don't want to do is fight a system, and OMS Plus significantly simplifies selling out of SAP. So in terms of using the interface, generally speaking, we take sales training from a typical SAP shop from 2 weeks to 6 months, which is a typical training regimen to become functional in SAP GUI, down to half a day to a couple days, depending on the complexity of your sales process. So a very, very short learning curve to be up and running and selling out of SAP with OMS Plus. Another key feature of the solution is it's typically calculates out to a very rapid ROI. So it's not unusual for us to see with implementation a 9 to 12 month break even for return on investment with the solution. And that comes through things like more efficient sales employees, cross-sell, upsell, higher average order size, as well as more order volume using the same exact infrastructure you have today by adding OMS Plus. Lastly, OMS Plus resides inside your ECC or S4 system. It's transacting directly with that data, meaning that on day one, you're up and running. There's no costly integration to build out and maintain, and there's no data synchronization to worry about. If you create an order in the OMS Plus solution, or you look at inventory levels, those are the same exact things you would see if you were logged into SAP on the backside. So we're directly interacting and embedded into the SAP backend application. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Scott, and he is going to walk us through a quick demo. Now, for those of you that have seen or haven't seen an OMS Plus demo before, we can easily spend 2 hours showing you all the features and functionality. So today we have about 10, 15 minutes, and we're going to do our best to give you just a flavor for what we can do, and we hope you'll reach out to see a more interactive demo.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much, Tim. As Tim mentioned, I'm going to be driving the OMS Plus demo today. And one of the big questions that we want to answer is, what is OMS Plus? Well, the answer is very long, but I would like to break that down into 3 things. OMS Plus is very good at presentation, automation, and aggregation. So those are the 3 things we're going to concentrate on. The very first thing is presentation. OMS Plus is a presentation layer at its most simple form. It is a web-based, modern user interface designed to make the complicated SAP transactions simple for the end user. So as I logged in there, and that was my SAP username and credentials, you can see I'm presented here in the web GUI here with an interface. And let's talk a little bit about the next part. So automation of processes. So we're going to start with a very, very basic transaction. This is very much the tip of the iceberg as to what OMS Plus can do. But we'll say that this is just a counter scenario. Customer's going to slap an item down on the counter. They would like to pay for it and get out of the store as quickly as possible. So we're going to add the item to the order, and I just entered it manually. We can interface with scan guns, et cetera, many other peripheral devices. In this case, I'm actually going to be taking a payment via credit card. Unfortunately, you will not be able to see that, but you can see that OMS Plus is waiting for the customer interaction. I'm actually going to confirm that amount on my card reader device, insert my credit card, and finish the transaction there. And then you'll see that OMS Plus is going to actually collect the payment. So we're submitting tender now. And then we have an informational icon that says this order is complete. So what did that actually do? So let's switch to a more complicated view of this order and take a look at the SAP doc flow that was created in the background when we did this. So back to what I was saying originally about automation of processes. In just that short time, we were able to create an order, collect payment, create a delivery, pick the delivery, post goods, issue the delivery, and then bill all of that with just a handful of quick button clicks and very little manual interaction from the user. So automation of processes. That is a very, very basic order. Just in the interest of time, I'm going to take you through some pre-existing orders that we have and show you some of the more complicated scenarios that OMS Plus can handle with ease as well. So we'll look at this order here. And something to note here is that we have different views that we can scroll through. So in this particular order, I'm actually looking at the supplier layout. And you can see that this item here is something that was externally purchased. And using OMS Plus, we actually selected the vendor and generated the PO directly from the interface. There's click-through links. So if we were to click on this, we would actually open up the web GUI, and we could see the purchase order in SAP. And then let's look at a much more complicated scenario here. And in this scenario, we actually had a very complicated variant configuration item where you can see that we did all of the configuration, tracked all the pricing, et cetera. And when we did that, it exploded out all these sub-items for a bomb. So that is a much more complicated scenario, and also something that OMS Plus was able to handle no problem at all. So the third piece of what we want to talk about is aggregation of data. And as Tim mentioned, OMS Plus sits inside of SAP and uses the SAP database. So all of this is live information, same information you would see if you were inside of SAP. But the thing is, it's in many different places. It would be many transactions to go and find all of this data within the SAP GUI. So we put it all together in a very nice, easy-to-consume format where all the information a user could want is here and accessible to them. Starting at the top, you can see we have some basic metrics around this customer, just some basic SAP information. We have a interface out to Google Maps, listing their contact information, a number of nice graphical representations of their orders, their open orders, all based on a date range that we are configured in the background. A number of interactions here, so we can see that this customer, we actually made an outbound call to them and talked to them at one point. A list of their recent materials and just running activities, so this includes deliveries, payments, et cetera, et cetera. We can see we have a couple of orders that are still open for delivery. And then the order that we actually just looked at that has a item that is sitting on a purchase order that we're still waiting to receive for them. Some basic credit information, and then their account details, so what's consuming that balance. And then an account summary of, how good are they, how current are they on the payments, things like that. Some basic classifications. And then you can see that this customer actually has a document associated with them that we're using SAP Document Management to store. So let's take a look at that in the view of a different customer, perhaps someone we're having some trouble creating orders or shipping deliveries out for, and let's see what might be the issue there. So you can see that this customer, just at a very quick glance, we can tell that they're over their credit limit, and we can tell that they actually, their open invoices are fairly current, but they have a number of open orders and open deliveries that we need to take care of. So just from a troubleshooting perspective, it's very, very easy to come in here and see exactly what the details are when we're trying to assist our customers in the best way possible. We have a similar view of materials. Again, aggregation of data, number of metrics, some basic material data, unit of measure and pricing, availability, not just at the location that I'm transacting in, but across my organization. And I have the ability to slice and dice that in any way. You can see that I have quick access to any alternatives. So this particular item that I'm looking at is actually out of stock in my location. I can see that sometime in August, I do have some more coming into me. But then I also, if the customer is looking for something right now, I have a number of alternatives that I can recommend to them. Again, class and characteristics at the material level, a number of documents associated with this material, and then recent orders, vendor information, and some other relevant material information. So it's very, very powerful, the amount of data that we can aggregate and put all together in one place so associates can make intelligent decisions on how they want to interact with their customer. And then one of the last things that I want to show you today, just ease of use. And Tim mentioned user training and how, when you're transacting in SAP GUI, that can, take quite a bit of time to get a user fully up and understanding all the intricacies of that. We do have some very nice integrated tutorials here in OMS Plus. So I will start a basic one. We will not run through the whole thing, but we'll just very quickly show how OMS Plus can pop up these helpful bubbles to show you exactly what you should be doing and walk you through an entire order process from end to end in a very, very nice, very easy to understand and consume format. And we'll go ahead and stop this tutorial there instead of going all the way to the end of the order. And again, so that's a very, very basic overview of what is OMS Plus. You can see it's a modern web-based interface designed to make your interactions with your customers seamless, give you all the information that you need right at your fingertips in order to transact with them in the best way possible. Very high level. We can certainly do significantly more complicated processes. If anybody has any interest in that, we'd love to do that at some point. All right, I'm going to take it back to you, sir.
Thank you, Scott, for the demo. We're going to now move on and have Katherine take over and talk about the Crafco implementation of OMS Plus.
Hello, everyone. I just want to take a second to thank DataXstream and SAP for this opportunity to talk about how we leverage OMS Plus to solve a lot of our data issues and streamline our processes and get everyone on the same system so that we're all seeing the same data and using the same system. Okay, a little bit about Crafco. We're a supplier in the paving preservation industry. We sell a lot of crack sealant products, joint sealants, geocomposites, and we also sell application equipment. We have a lot of sealant plants located across the U.S., and we have a distribution system that is strategically placed worldwide. Basically, what we have is we have a system of manufacturing facilities and also supply centers. And what we had is a lot of our manufacturing facilities, they were on SAP, while our supply centers were on a software called RMS. And we integrated those two softwares together. So data from RMS would be flowing to Ergon's SAP system. And also master data that we set up in SAP would flow back to the RMS system. So we had a lot of issues with our RMS systems. First of all, we had a task connector called Avalara, and RMS was it's an older software, and they stopped supporting it. And we had a lot of issues with the vendor of RMS that wanting to terminate support because we weren't on the latest version of their software. It got to where we extended services and for that, and then we got to the point where we really had no support. We were only getting support in a one-off situation when we had an issue that we could not resolve. We were spending a lot of time, the Crafco IT department was spending a lot of time trying to solve issues with RMS, particularly with the tax integration, because Avalara was not willing to support that software or that integration any longer. It's very hard to sell someone an item that they walk up to the counter with if you don't know what the sales tax is for that item. And that is just one simple issue that we have with RMS. There were also a lot of different issues with the reliability of the integration, and that caused a lot of manual processes. So imagine that for master data, particularly customer master data, we had SAP was the system of source. So imagine you have a new customer in your store, and they have to wait for the credit department to set up that customer master data, and then it has to integrate with RMS. It caused a lot of frustration between our customers and our customer service people at our supply centers that we really couldn't solve with the integration. Also, there are a lot of errors in integrations sometimes. They fail, and they're expensive to maintain. So we had a lot of wasted productive time, especially with management, with our credit department, and trying to reconcile the differences in RMS and SAP. That extended not only to our customer master data or our customer AR, but also to our materials and material availability. So the reason we decided on OMS Plus is because it's a very simple platform that is easy for users to learn and use. We're able to get all of our locations on supply, including our supply centers, onto SAP. So originally we looked at this software as something that our supply centers will use, but we also have a customer service department who's taking orders for our plants, our refining plants, and they like the software as well. It's easy to train on, so everyone now, from a customer service standpoint, is using OMS Plus. So we have everyone on the same system, and it's easy to train users. We have we have gained a lot of productivity time because users are not spending the time trying to reconcile differences between the two systems. Because there is no issue. There's only one system, and that's SAP. What you see in OMS Plus, that's SAP data. So everyone is using the same system, whether they're logged into OMS Plus or they're logged into SAP. We were looking for one system that gave us transparency for customers, for sales information, inventory, reporting, particularly when we talk about reporting for our management team. We had issues where our supply centers were running reports for inventory and customer sales at the end of each day and providing that to management. So management was making decisions on data that wasn't real time. Also, when we talk about accounting, particularly, when we talk about AR, there's one set of open AR for the customer, and there's not time wasted trying to figure out why those balances don't match between the two systems. Also, OMS Plus is a great communication tool that different supply centers in different plants and our customer service department can use to communicate with each other. One thing I do want to focus on here is our customers and our inventory. I think, it's hard from a management standpoint to make decisions about customers and about our sales information if we don't have real-time data. And this provides real-time data because everyone is on the same system. Also with our inventory, RMS, each one of these supply centers, they had a terminal location, and then that data synced periodically to a terminal located in the home office. So not even our supply centers and RMS could see each other's inventory. They could only see what they had available at their location. This creates a problem where you get too much inventory at one place and not enough at another supply center that can move that inventory. So we would have supply centers that maybe would order product, not realizing a nearby store had plenty of that product available. So then you have one supply center ordering product while someone nearby has dead inventory that they haven't moved. That's not a good thing when you have inventory overages at one location and shortages at another. Not easy to solve when you're in a system where users can't see inventory for other store locations and for the refining plants. One thing that we were able to do is provide real-time data is for reporting. Again, this has not only to do with our supply centers and their ability to share data. It has to do with management decisions. It's really hard to make management decisions based on data that isn't real-time. It makes you more reactive and not proactive. One thing that we have done, with the ability to see inventory, for example, is we've really worked to move inventory around to supply centers that have a need for it and away from supply centers that maybe had an overage of that inventory instead of ordering product from the vendor. We've been able to identify fast-moving inventory and get it to the right locations faster, and perhaps maybe market slower-moving items better. That's been a lot of help on our sales side. Also, we are able, as Scott showed, to look at customer information and see what issues the customer might have real time and make decisions based on that information. I think it's really important that when you're making decisions about inventory, customers, and the future of your business, that you have real-time data and everyone is looking at the same information. We also have the ability to have more intuitive training for users. It results in a better employee experience. When you hire someone new and it takes a little while for them to learn the SAP screens because maybe it's not as intuitive as you would like, then you get frustrated employees. So what we've done is really worked with OMS Plus to develop fast training tools that users can use to learn the system a little bit faster. And like Scott said, that's really cut down on our training time, where it may take someone a month or better to get used to the SAP order screen. Someone can learn in a day or two now how to enter these orders and be up running and independent, can enter orders and take payment very easily. We've also been able to streamline our customer service process, where customer service can spend more time instead of entering orders. They can interact with customers more, and that winds up being, happy customer service, happy customer. They have a better customer service experience. We've also been able to centralize support, where we may have had different users supporting RMS versus SAP. Now that is centralized. Also, Crafco has been able to utilize Ergon. We centralize our SAP support in a tiered solution so that if Crafco needs assistance and they are not able to resolve the issues, then that goes immediately to support here at Ergon. So whereas Ergon did not participate in support of the RMS solution, now all these users are able to not only leverage support at Crafco, but support also at Ergon if needed. We've been able to identify and rectify key data issues earlier. When you have an issue and you're not really certain what that is, and you're on two different systems, it's a lot of information to sort through to try to figure out what's wrong. Why are we having an issue? Where are the differences in OpenAR? Where is our inventory at? One system makes it quicker, faster, able to respond, and as the demo showed, we do have customer information pages and material information pages that tells us where our inventory is at and where our customer is as far as their open AR, their open orders. And it makes it a lot easier for us to resolve issues in a quick response time. Another thing that we have been able to do is we've been able to share information or share work. So if I as a customer, go into a supply center, not only now can that person behind the counter take a look at inventory at other locations, they can actually enter orders for those other locations where they did not have that ability in RMS. So there can be some communication using the OMS Plus tool between that supply center and other supply centers nearby to see who might be able to fill that order based on open inventory and ship that product for that customer. So that has made it a lot faster for us because the tool itself, it provides, I don't think that, maybe that wasn't demoed There's also some communication tools where you can send tasks back and forth or discussions back and forth, not only with customers as Scott demoed, but in between yourself. So that speeds up the process of, hey, I see that you have this part, I have a customer here that wants it. Can you ship it to their job location for me? And then the reply back, yes. So then that person, customer service, they can go ahead and enter that order for the customer and take their payment while another supply center ships that product. That's something that has become an integral part of our business since we've been on OMS Plus. It really wasn't possible in the RMS Plus solution that we had before. That has really provided us the ability to speed up orders and make customers happy, get the product to them faster, and make it where we're looking to provide the customer with a good solution, fast delivery of product where we can from any location that we have available inventory at. Another thing is we were processing our credit card transactions and reconciling receipts manually. We are utilizing OMS Plus and our partner Card Connect to take payments. As the demo showed, it's really a simple process when you put in a credit card order or a cash sale order to take the payment for that and process it very quickly. It's really taking something that would in SAP would be multiple steps down to just a couple of steps. You enter the order, take the payment, and then you automatically have posted goods issued for that material and create an invoice for that customer where you can hand them a receipt that's printed off, and they're on the way out the door in just a few seconds. That makes it a really good process for our customers. A no slow order process when the customer's standing there waiting for the receipt so they can walk out and get back to work. Also on our AR side, we have a reconciliation of our receipts that our supply centers and our plants took during the day and our customer service department took during the day. That process is automatic. We don't have to sit there and enter these payments and then reconcile them with what we received from the bank every day and then go hunt down, well, what happened with this payment? All that is automatic for us now. So it does free up not only customer service people, but it also frees up our credit department and where they can better utilize their time instead of entering these credit card payments and doing a reconciliation. We have, like I said, real-time product availability for all our locations. Each supply center can see not only what the other supply center in the regions have, but they can also see what our refineries have. So this is great because we can process orders for each location or other locations, and then they can deliver the product to the customer for us if we're in one location and we may not have something. Where in the past, what was happening, we may say, well, we don't have that available, but we'll order it for you, and then we drop ship that product to the customer's site. It takes a little bit longer, plus we haven't utilized our inventory correctly because we have that product available. But that customer service rep didn't know it. Excuse me. When I say that we can, one supply center can process an order for another one, all they have to do is change the plant shipping location, and they're off to the races. That plant that is going to ship that product, they can have visibility to that order, and they will receive a pick ticket, and then go pick that product and ship it to the customer. Excuse me. Transparency across all locations. Again, I would say that really improves our ability to handle customers and to get them the product they need in a quick time frame instead of ordering product from the vendor because we don't have it in our store and someone nearby had it and we had no idea. I think that DataXstream has been a very helpful partner in implementing the OMS solution for us. They have been great in answering any questions that we have. You know, as Tim and Scott said, it's a really simple setup process. You know, OMS integrates with SAP seamlessly. And if we did have some instances where we wanted some customization, and they were great in providing that customization for us in a quick and timely fashion. And it's been a great solution for us in getting everyone on the same system and doing away with the implementations between two different systems and streamlining our processes and our decision making. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I have a little bit of a dry throat there. At this time, I think we're ready for questions.
Great, thank you so much. As we begin with today's Q&A, I ask that everyone please fill out the feedback form that is docked on the right-hand side of your computer. To complete this form, please press Submit. Now for the question and answer portion of our event. As a reminder, to participate in the Q&A, just type your question into the text box located below the slide window and click Submit. Rajiv, I'll pass things over to you to kick off the question and answer.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Brittany. And thanks, Katherine and Scott and Tim. We have started getting a few questions. The first question for the DataXstream team, is it possible to get a report or a log showing the inventory movement at a given location throughout a time period, like this user asked, throughout the month? And does it offer options for traceability?
So yes, it's very straightforward to bring data forward into the OMS Plus solution because we're sitting inside the SAP system itself. So we have a number of features and standard reports. The specific requirements that this particular person might be looking for, we would need to look at exactly what the need was. But we actually have the ability to take any standard SAP report or custom SAP report that's been written and present it in OMS Plus. And there's a security / personalization layer that sits over top of that. So you can make reports available to managers, super users, as well as counter users at different levels. So some users may see the report, others may not. And so it's as simple as just saying that I would like to take this particular report that exists in SAP and present it in OMS Plus. And likewise, if it's a report that's kind of unique or a specific need that's not supported out of the box inside of SAP, then it is something that can be written as a traditional ABAP report and then exposed in OMS Plus. But we do have the ability to render in a report dynamically in our solution.
Got it. We'll give Katherine, there's one question for Katherine, but we'll give her a chance to rest her throat. And so I'll ask a question to you, Tim. What are the prerequisites to successfully implement the OMS Plus solution?
Yeah, so essentially, a customer needs to be on ECC Enhancement Pack 7 or higher, and that includes all versions of S4 going forward up to the current version 1909. We're certified on these various different platforms, and then that's pretty much it. When you subscribe to OMS Plus, a cloud platform tenant is sourced and connected into your back-end system, and then you go into configuration. So there's not a lot of prerequisites to making it work. It's traditionally speaking, from the time the back-end is installed to the time we're up and transacting is literally a matter of hours. So one of the things that's a little unique on an OMS Plus project from many other applications you would bolt on to SAP, is that we're transacting almost immediately with your data and your processes. And you can spend your time in your implementation dialing in those things versus spending time just getting the applications talking to each other. So very low bar to getting it working.
Cool. Thanks. Katherine, the question for you, how long was it for Crafco, once you decided to go with OMS Plus, to start seeing the benefit of the system?
So when we decided to go with OMS Plus, I think it was implementation of about 5 months, so not a very long process, where we cleaned up a lot of master data in that process, and then were able to test in OMS Plus. And plus we wanted some customization there that OMS Plus was able to provide during that time, and we conducted training. But as far as seeing a benefit, that benefit was seen almost immediately within a few days. I think Crafco embarked on a project once they got past a couple of weeks to get people into the system and used to it, to really clean up inventory. Because we have a lot of inventory where you may, at different supply centers, where we may want to shift it around to another store or another location that can sell it faster. Or we may have some slow-moving items that maybe we want to discount and market out to customers to get that inventory moving. So that process started almost immediately within a couple of weeks. So our benefit was realized almost immediately.
Very good to hear. The next question, it might be for both Tim and Katherine, is as customers make investment, they want to future-proof their critical systems. So how does OMS help Crafco's future-proofing Crafco's investment? Maybe there are two sides of. Maybe there is a Tim's answer and there is a Katherine's answer.
Sure. So I'll go first. Crafco implemented on ECC, and this year they've embarked on an upgrade project. And one of the things that's really nice about OMS Plus and implementing it if you're on the ECC platform is that it allows you to modernize and leverage new SAP technologies and tools, streamline your business processes in an ECC world. And then when you move to S4, it's as simple as applying our upgrade package during the upgrade step. And when you come out the other side, you're back up and running and transacting, which means that any OCM processes or changes that you need to make occur with implementing OMS Plus. But from an S4 perspective, the field force that's running the solution doesn't know that you've actually upgraded your entire back-end system. So that's my piece. I'll let Katherine talk about how that affects Crafco.
So I think DataXstream is always working to include new SD functionality. So when SAP comes out with new functionality, OMS is able to include that and support that functionality in a very quick time. And also, this software is intuitive. It's very flexible. It grows with your business. You can implement any new SAP functionality, or you can easily customize the solution. So if you have some customization in SAP, usually that just works in OMS Plus without a whole lot of work from DataXstream or from our end to make that customization work. Also, as Tim mentioned, we're looking at going to S4, and when we talked about that, we even talked about as early as this fall. But for given the current environment in the world, that's been pushed back just a little bit. But we've already started talking with DataXstream about implementing their S4 solution. And then it's a very simple process, just like our original implementation. You're up and running in a test environment in a matter of a few hours, a day at most, and then testing. I think the DataXstream team has worked really well with us to come up with a testing plan for the S4 to make sure that all our existing functionality works in the new implementation.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you for a very comprehensive answer. Next question is probably for you, for Tim. How does DataXstream address those customers who may be looking to do the same things that you have done in OMS Plus in Fiori?
Yeah, so a couple things about Fiori. One, we're similar from a technology perspective in that we take SAP and we use OData services to expose the SAP underlying application to a user. The kind of the difference is OMS Plus is a platform designed for efficient selling, and it's purpose-built around the selling process. So things like the cash and carry process that we demoed, where we did, if we were to have counted the clicks, Scott probably did 5 or 6 clicks and a few keystrokes, and he was able to process an order end to end. Fiori has all the same components of delivery, processes, order creation, and payment processing, but they don't have that aggregation layer and the automation layer that allows you to pull those things together to quickly and efficiently process. So it's really about streamlining those processes so that you can create that amazing customer experience. The other thing is OMS Plus is based on the same technology stack as Fiori. So when we deploy, we can deploy side by side and embedded with Fiori. So from a user perspective, if you have a big Fiori footprint within your company, you can put OMS Plus in a Fiori tile. You can launch into our application with single sign-on, and to the user, they don't know that they've moved between a traditional Fiori app and a cloud platform app called OMS Plus. And we have one customer on the West Coast that really wanted the user experience to be so seamless that we actually have a Fiori overlay for the look and feel of our solution, so that when they move between their Fiori apps and OMS Plus, they all look exactly the same as if they were in Fiori. So it's really about very similar technologies, but kind of different purpose for how they're used.
Got it. And now we have the last questions so far in the chat. Is that in the demo you talked about how OMS sits on top of the SAP sales and distribution. So does it eliminate the need to use the GUI from SD and then you replace the GUI? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so effectively the goal is when a customer is implementing OMS Plus in any of the use cases that we've discussed, call center, counter, or mobile sales, we want them to be 100% fully sufficient inside of OMS Plus. That way, they're able to transact and do all the things they need to do in their job from this one interface without having to train them in GUI and without having to provide, the additional access into the GUI itself. That being said, every transaction, every document that you open up in OMS Plus, there is a link that will take you back into GUI if you want to have an integrated environment. So the goal is to do everything from inside of OMS Plus that a user needs to do to complete a sale. But for a power user or somebody that needs a little more detail or wants to look under the covers, you're one click away from looking at that same document in GUI from anywhere inside of OMS Plus.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So that was the last question in chat. I really want to thank you, Tim and Katherine, for sharing your expertise in this world and really practical experience and practical knowledge as Katherine, your team adopted the OMS solution. So that's it from me and the team. Brittany, you have any closing comments?
Great, thank you so much. Katherine and Tim, was there anything you want to add before I wrap things up?
Well, I'd just like to thank Katherine and Crafco for participating with us today and doing this joint presentation. We very much appreciate it, and I'd also like to thank SAP for sponsoring this.
Great, thank you. And thank you everyone for attending today's webinar, Case Study, How Crafco Enhances its Order Management Processes with OMS Plus, hosted by SAPinsider and presented by SAP with DataXstream and Crafco. Tomorrow you will receive an email reminder to access this presentation on demand. On behalf of SAPinsider and our guests Rajiv Nema at SAP, Katherine Easterling at Ergon Corp, and Tim Yates at DataXstream, thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.